Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do a half double crochet stitch. As you can see from our swatches that we've had before, this is a single crochet swatch, this is a half double crochet swatch, and this is a double crochet swatch. So you can see that in terms of stitch height, it is right in between the single crochet and the double crochet. And so in patterns, a half double crochet stitch will be abbreviated as HDC. So if you ever see a pattern that says HDC, you're going to want to know how to do a half double crochet stitch, which I will show you how to do right now. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using a size 4 acrylic yarn. This is Basic Stitch from Lion Brand, and I'll also be using a 5mm crochet hook. So if you guys remember from my single crochet tutorial, I talked about how at the end of every row you need to chain 1 stitch for single crochets. For half double crochets, you're going to want to chain 2 stitches at the end of every row to count as your turning chain. And the reason for that is because when we start working our rows like this and we want to turn to do our next row, it's going to need to be 2 chains because a half double crochet is 2 chains high, as opposed to a single crochet, which is only 1 chain high. So at the end of every row on half double crochet, we're going to chain 2. So that being said, since this swatch is 20 stitches across, we're going to start with a foundation chain of 22 because we always want to add 2 chains at the end of every row. So to get started, we're just going to do a quick slip knot and chain 22. And if you need a refresher on how to do that, I have a tutorial for that as well, but for now, just go ahead and do a quick chain 22 stitches. Alright, so now we have our 22 stitches. So you're going to want to wrap your working yarn around your left hand to get some good tension, and then go ahead and take a look at your chains. So like I said, we're always going to want to leave the chain 2 at the end of every row. So you're going to see here we have the chain 1, chain 2, so we're going to start the half double crochet in this 3rd chain because these 2 count as the turning chains. So just like the single crochet, we're only going to be working our stitches into this left side of the chain for our first row. The only difference is that instead of just sticking our hook into the stitch to begin, we're going to yarn over first. So I'll show you how to do that right now. So go ahead and hold your hook in your right hand, and you're going to be holding your working yarn in the left hand with some good amount of tension. You're going to take your hook and you're going to bring it out in front of that working yarn, and then you're going to wrap the hook around the yarn like that. From there, we're going to find our 3rd chain from the hook, 2, 3, and we're only working into that left side of the chain. So while that yarn is still wrapped around your hook, you're going to stick the hook into that left side of the chain. Then you're going to go ahead and grab that yarn with your hook and pull it down through that chain loop. So now you should have 3 loops on your crochet hook. So again, you're going to bring your hook in front of your working yarn, grab that yarn to hook it onto your hook, point it down, and pull through all 3 of those loops. So that is your first half double crochet. Let's go ahead and do another one. Again, before we stick our hook in, we're going to wrap it around our hook first. We're going to wrap it around. Go ahead and look for that next chain. We're only going to be working into that left side of the chain. So go ahead and stick your hook in. From there, you're just going to grab the working yarn with your hook and then pull it through that chain. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and then go ahead and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So there you go, you have 2 half double crochets. Let's go ahead and do one more. So before we stick our hook in, we're going to yarn over, take your hook out in front of the working yarn and wrap it around your hook. Go ahead and find that next chain. We're only going to be working into half of the chain, so go ahead and stick your hook through only half of the chain. From there, you're going to yarn over and hook your working yarn. Pull through that chain. Now you have 3 loops. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So there you go. You have 3 half double crochets. So go ahead and finish the rest of these chains and I'll meet you right before the end of the row. Alright, so here is what our work looks like so far, and we have 2 stitches left before the end of the row, so let's finish those off together. We're going to yarn over, and then we're going to stick our hook into half of the chain, yarn over and hook, yarn over, hook, and pull through all 3. Here's our last one. We're going to yarn over, stick your hook into half of the chain, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through all 3 stitches. So there we go. That is our foundation chain for the half double crochet. And so now I'm going to show you how to start with the second row. So like I said, we're always going to chain 2 at the end of every row before we turn our work. So for the second row, now that we've already established that first foundation row, we're now going to be working into both of the stitches rather than just half of the chain. So in order to find the chain that you're going to be going into, so you're going to see it's going to be the 3rd stitch from the hook. Whenever you're working half double crochet, you're always going to start working in the 3rd stitch from the hook. So you can see here we have 1, 2, this is going to be the one we're working into. So go ahead and yarn over just like you did before. You're going to wrap your hook out in front, bring it back around, and now we're going to be working into both of these loops rather than just one. So if you look underneath, you're going to see that there's a little space underneath those 2 loops. You're going to stick your hook into that space right there. You're going to yarn over and bring the working yarn through. And now you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And there's your first half double crochet in your second row. Let's go ahead and do another one. So go ahead and yarn over before you stick your hook in. Find that space underneath the 2 loops for your next stitch. Stick your hook in. You're going to yarn over and pull that working yarn through. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Let's go ahead and do one more. Yarn over, stick your hook through both loops, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So there you go. You can see that the half double crochets are forming on top of the first row. This is your second row, and you've got your turning chains over here. So go ahead and keep practicing, and I will meet you at the end of the row. Alright, so go ahead and keep practicing those half double crochets. Just remember to always yarn over before you insert your hook into every stitch, and to also chain 2 at the end of every row to make sure that you have a long enough turning chain. Alright, so here is what our second row is looking like now. As you can see, we have 2 stitches left for that row, so let's go ahead and finish those off together. Yarn over, put your hook through both of the loops, yarn over, pull your yarn through. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. For the last stitch, yarn over, stick your hook through, yarn over, pull through, oops, and yarn over, pull through. And there you have your second row of half double crochets. So again, don't forget to chain 2 at the end of every row before you flip your work over. So you can see here, these are your 2 turning chains, so you're always going to start in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, first chain, 2nd chain, 3rd chain. This is the one you're going to start in. So for the 3rd row, you're going to yarn over, stick your hook underneath both of the loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And so you're just going to keep repeating these stitches until you have the size that you are looking for, or however many rows that your pattern is telling you to do. Whenever you have your